Hey everybody, Dr. Tommy John here, and I'm bringing you move number 4 in my spinal hygiene routine. It's called spinal rolling. That's what I call it. All right. And you're going to notice that this is the first one of the 7 that doesn't involve the neck. We've done 3 previous that were only cervically related, the neck. Now it's the first one that's the full spine. And this is going to be, when we start involving each of these segments, man, it's a body-wide change. As I tried to illustrate in those cervicals, trying to find your feet. Same thing with this, only your legs, torso, core, everything's going to be so much involved, and you're going to feel that. So I'm going to illustrate on this model here what we're trying to elicit, what we're trying to get done in this move. Okay, spinal rolling. All right, you're going to start at the atlas, that top bone in the spine, and you are literally going to think about activating those deep, deep muscles of the front of your body. You're going to try to shorten by control those muscles to bring each segment forward onto itself. So you're going to try, everyone's looking, being like, wait, isn't that like the worst posture you want? We can't do it. Not if you're actively choosing to do that. If it can move this way, you want to train to move this way, not passively sit on connective tissue that way, but we want to actively bring this into action, okay? Because what happens is when we contract or shorten the front, the back lengthens proportionate to that activation. So if you really activate the front, you're going to really lengthen the back. And that's a good thing. And then we're going to see it. It's going to be flip-flopped, where the back is going to be actively shortened to lengthen the front. But we're going to start at atlas, bring each segment on top of itself. And as you get down to end range, you're going to start at atlas again, and you're going to bring each segment, is the thought, into extension all the way back. So you are going to really, really connect with yourself on the deepest level on exactly how to move each segment of your spine in this rolling manner. Let me demonstrate it in full speed, full go, so you can get an idea of what we're trying to elicit with this exercise, okay, or with this movement. Watch this. No words. Whew. And this is one of those, it's going to be a big bang for your buck. And a lot of people love this move. Here's what we got though. A couple pitfalls that we see. Again, me thinking atlas and going to 2 and 3 and 4 and all the way down. Whatever move you did previous to the segment above, you want to maintain that position. So as I get here, a couple of pitfalls that I see, people will go. And then as they start to fold here, they'll default to this. We want to try to pull that onto itself, to try to roll, literally to try to lengthen. There's this little ligament that sits at the base of your skull and goes to your tailbone. We're trying to like pull that open and motion that, because ligaments, just like muscle, they can build. They can get very thick and very strong when stimulated. Another thing, you're going to pull on this fascia line that as you get to the bottom, you may feel it in the soles of your feet underneath your big toe, especially if you do it first thing in the morning, because we've been laying still for 6 to 8 hours, not moving. So everything's going to be in kind of lockdown. So when you go through this and you start lengthening and moving and awakening these areas, you're going to feel them. And it's pretty gnarly when you start to feel what happens when you tuck and actively forward flex, okay? So that's one thing. Another thing, and this is maybe the most important part of this move itself. Watch the thoracic region. Watch my middle back. This is what I see on a lot of people, especially today, in today's day and age, when we've just stayed hunched over computers, sitting like little zombies, staring at our phones. Like you are when you're watching this video. Hopefully not. All right, watch this. Watch my thoracic, my middle back area. It'll do this. We have no problem rounding it. Then as we get to the bottom, we go, we hit that thoracic area. We don't really know how to use it because we haven't used it in so long, and it just goes right to the lumbars and we go back. And there's none of that undoing in that thoracic extension. So really, really, really focus on this part right here. When you get down, actively pull yourself down. And when you're coming up to the top, it's that lower neck right to the base of your ribs. Oh. You're really trying to extend that. Oh, and then I go back into almost a back bend, and I'll tell you why. But that thoracic extension, it's huge for all other moves, for you to do a deadlift very well, or to do a lunge very well, or to carry groceries, or like your ability to keep your cage upright. Now, we want both directions for sure, but we're so stuck in this forward flexed passive position just by default because we've sat there for so long. The backward bend, here's why I like to do that, okay? Any chance you get to extend or do the opposite of the way we sit the majority of our days, do it. Another thing is when I get to my limit, there, I'm feeling like this pull from the base of my chin all the way down to the top of my pubic bone. Like you're getting this great eccentric contraction of your abdominals or of your core in the opposite way. We do all this stuff, stabilize the back, but the front can bridge itself just as much. It's a very, very valuable kind of a cherry on top at the end of the move. And I've seen people come back like this, and that was their move. That's okay. Remember, never past the point of pain. Whatever range of motion you're able to get, but never, ever past the point of pain. So even if it's just this right here, there's still this undulating wave going through your body. It's like minuscule, but it's still happening. And then you do that for days and weeks and months and years. And eventually it's going to be you putting your chin on your knees and bringing yourself back up with utmost control of your spine. So just be consistent with it, but never past the point of pain. You got to feel this in order to heal this or in order to improve this. Couple things about what to do with my hands. Ricky Bobby scenario. What do I do with my hands? I like this. If you watch my hand action, tuck, bring them in. As you start crossing the shoulder line, let the shoulders roll forward. It'll help allow the spine to move even more. So we roll forward. Then when we get to bottom, extend, extend, extend. And then once you hit that shoulder line, bring them back and then just let the arms go with you. And it totally opens up the chest. Oh, and you'll completely expand, and damn, it feels good. Okay. So just let your arms start to work in that capacity as long as, again, it doesn't create any pain. Breathing. What do I do with my breathing? Don't worry about it. You just find your breath however you got to find it. You'll find what your rhythm is. Okay. If I could cue you, just try to keep it through the nose as much as possible. Now, what if we can't stand, or what if we're in a position where I don't have the ability to stand up, or I can't, or you're a beginner on this stuff and you want to feel the move before standing? Because again, standing on this is very, very, very difficult. Okay. But if you want to sit, pull up a chair, a bench, a pew, ottoman, a bed, couch. Sit to the end of it. Get your butt to the end of it, okay? Spread your knees open. Reason being, if we've got, we want to dip in between our legs and allow our pelvis to kind of rock in between our femur, our legs, okay? If somebody's pregnant, let the belly kind of go in between, or if we're carrying a little bit more weight in the front, that's okay. Just spread the knees out wide so we can motion in between there, all right? And we'll start, same thing, start at that atlas, top of the spine, round it, contract forward, shortening the whole front of the body, bring it all the way down as far as it can go, into extension. And you can get the same arm action that you have when you're standing up. And you may get some snap, cracks, and pops. That's okay. The more we hear, that means the more you want to do that movement. Okay, again, as long as there's no pain. Seated is a great way to learn this. I know there's other accessory moves that you can do on the ground to start to feel the thoracics and start to feel what it's like to get into extension. I love just throwing people in the fire because these moves are so simple that if we just kind of submerge ourselves in the simple with feedback and we trial and error thousands of times, in those thousands of errors is learning. And that's just a huge benefit. Plus, it takes the edge off of us having to be perfect because there is no perfect in exercise. It doesn't work that way. It's movement. You got to make it your own. Never past the point of pain. Perform for the desired reps and sets as your trainer, whoever gives them to you, or you design yourself. Hopefully that's what we're working towards. And be consistent. That's the thing. You heal you, but you got to feel you, and never stop moving.